Hi all and welcome back to the channel. Here today we have another special video for everyone. Today we will be taking an early access look at WARNO. Now WARNO is the new game from Eugen Systems. Now WARNO is a bit like their previous titles of the Wargame series and the Steel Division titles, as you will see shortly. And obviously being early access, there's not a ton in there at the moment, but what's in here graphically is really nice, gameplay feels really nice, just looks and plays quite badass, to be perfectly honest. Now, I'm going to take a short look at the armory here, and we will jump into a skirmish match as well and just show off some of the features in a 1v AI and give everyone a quick look at what is currently here in the game. So before we jump into the skirmish, let's go to the armory. Now, those of you who have played their previous titles will recognize this sort of screen. Now, as you can see, you have, this is you just default looking through the armory of all the units that are currently in the game, and your battle groups at the bottom here, which you can create new ones. So just going to run through the basic of this one. That is a little audio bug there, but it is early access on Steam. It released on the 20th of January 22, so it, at time of recording, is only indeed 2 days old. Now, once again, for those who have played their previous titles, you'll recognize this screen where your decks are made up of logistics, infantry, artillery, tanks, recon, AA, helicopters, and air. Now, as with previous titles as well, you've got kind of your logistics takes the roles of resupplying via these resupply vehicles that you get, capturing control points using different units as well, and there's also airborne supply there as well. The infantry obviously is self-explanatory. It is your ground troops, your actual foot soldiers. As always, they have different roles, different costs, different transport vehicles they can come in for different prices, as with the Steel Division games. And they have different weapons, different stats, equipment and such for variations. There are also leader versions of foot soldiers here, as with previous titles, that can also be used to capture control points. Now, artillery, once again, self-explanatory. You just get some different tiers of units. Tanks, once again, you have different tanks with their different variations. There's also CP versions that can also be used to capture points as well. Recon here. Now, see, you have different recon soldiers here as you go through them. And they all have slightly different properties to them as well, as you would imagine. AA here takes a role of, there is some foot troops here that do have AA, and then you've got your actual vehicular based AA as well. Helicopters, the different variations of the different types of helicopters here as well. And then finally air, which is your jets. Which, as with the previous titles, there are different ones with different roles. So you've got air defense jets here, you've got SEAD, you've got anti-tank, support. Now, what is different about this title is, as the different jets have different speeds, they actually come into the map at different speeds. There is a new travel system for the jets before they get into the actual AO. And I will show this off very shortly in the mission as well. So now obviously with the battle group you can just fill it up with whatever units you want, up to a maximum of 50 activation points. Activation points get taken up by these here. Each vehicle you add will take up the first slot. Troop. The further through you get, the more they will start to take up activation points wise. As such. And as you can see, the different vehicles have different numbers on them as well. 105, 120, 170, so on. This is their point cost for when you call them in game. This goes for all the different units here, as you can see, and with some of the infantry, like the mech rifles down here, you can actually, this cost will change if you swap the vehicles to cost more down here. As you can see, they're going from being 70 with their transport basic, they're 85, and with the armored transport they are 115 points to call in the battle each. Now, with battle groups, what is new in this one is you can create combat companies as well within your actual battle group here. I won't go into this now, but later on, possibly in another video, I will actually go into a little bit more depth into the combat groups system that is here. Now, the game will have a mod center eventually. Currently there is multiplayer and solo, as you can see here. Solo is a bit lacking at the moment. The whole game doesn't have a ton of content. There's only 2 battle groups, one for the NATO, one for the Pact at the moment. But as you can see, coming soon will be a full-on tutorial, full-on campaign, operations. There's already 4 maps you can play skirmishes on, and there will be more skirmish modes in the future also. What we're going to do, we're just going to jump into a 1v1 here. I'm going to go death row map here. I'm going to do NATO versus Pact. I'm going to leave it standard points and the standard starting. We're going to launch into the battle and show you guys a bit of the game itself, the unit quality, the maps, the UI, and all that sort of stuff. So here you go. This is when you first launch into a battle. This is what you'll see. This here is your warning order. It's basically just what you do in the game, like this battle. So this is Battle for Death Row. That is the map. The mission is to capture the flags. So the more points you hold up here in the middle, this green section, that is how many income points that you guys have and the total that is on the map. So as you capture these, your value will go up. We start with 1,500 points. You can see here the stars. Income rate, just 1, so standard. Score limit of 2,000 points from holding these flags. We can just go ahead and close that warning order there. As you can see, we've got these icons down here. This first one is just to open and close the warning order. The second one here is for show all orders. So when you have units down, tell them where to go, you can see their orders. This is the line of sight one. So when you have a unit selected, you can either toggle it or you can do C and hold C, and it gives you this line of sight and range marker disc here. You have standard chat, and then this final tab here is for the rules of engagement. Now, to show off the rules of engagement, we will need to put down a unit. So what we're going to do is we are just going to put down 2 tanks on this road here, and then the rules of engagement here on the bottom right opens up this engagement panels tab. Now, this allows you to change the standard order of the units and how they basically will act across the map. So this first one is just when your default right click to tell them to move, what they'll do by default. Defaultly it is on move. I have swapped it to hunt, so it means whenever I tell them to move, they will be on the hunt. A bit like an attack move from many other games, they'll move towards the point. If they see an enemy, they will engage them. Motorized pathing, I put it on fast, so this means they're more likely to take roads because they tend to be the faster route rather than the shortest route. Shortest route would be, say, cutting across the field, but the fastest would be going down the road because they will drive slower across the fields. When in idle, I've got my tanks set to cover, so if I've put them in the field here and they go idle, they will just move to the nearest bit of tree line for a bit more cover. You can set this to do nothing or to hold position. Now, this fourth one down is the operating procedure when reacting to enemy fire when out of range. So you can change what to do. Defensive tends to be a pretty good one to have them on. So here you can read that. Defensive reaction, they will try to pull back and get into cover. You can also tell them whether or not to smoke and tell them whether or not to fire on vehicles. You can save this as default and then save and apply to the rest of the vehicles of the same kind. Now, as with the Steel Division titles, in this deployment phase you can indeed tell your vehicles where you and units where you want them to go before the battle has fully begun. So we are going to tell that tank to go up there, and he should do that when the battle starts, yes, hopefully. Sir. Or we'll tell them both to do it. That'll be their first thing, is we want them to come up here like that. So they will travel up there. They've got their motorized pathfinding too fast, so they should just gun it straight up the road. Now, we are going to get a piece of artillery, and we're going to give him a supply truck. We're going to leave them there to start. Now, the recon, or certain recon, have the ability to forward deploy. So, this recon helicopter, we're going to get to start out in this field. We're going to get him to go up the right. We're going to get this one to start on the left and go up the left. That way we can just get them out there quicker and get them watching the angles to know where the enemy are coming from a little bit better. Now, aircraft, if I just get rid of one of these tanks real quick, see they go into this air wing section here. That's how you then put them in. So we're going to get 1A10, there's the support version with the HE bombs to start. And we are going to get this here. We are going to just tell him to go up here, and then we're going to shift. Just tell him to move straight into those trees as well. He is on fast pathfinding, so we should move into there. But better to be safe than sorry. Now, we are going to get one unit of engineers here. We have used quite a lot of points getting this artillery piece. Hopefully it will pay off getting it so early, but we will have to find out. Now what we're going to do, we're going to hit unload at position here. The default key for it is Y for the hotkey, and then I can just pre-tell this unit to, say, drive up to here and tell them to deploy in there. They're on fast pathfinding, they'll go straight up the road, so that's good. The vehicles, the transport vehicles you can now sell, and I turned auto resale on here. Now we're going to hit launch battle, and we're going to let everything go. Now this recon vehicle, I'm going to just tell to go fly over there. I'm going to tell this one to fly quite far up that left side as well. Even going to actually just modify that to go even further. Now,
do you have a target, Captain?
This artillery, we're just going to move forward into the field a little bit more here, and then we're going to hit this button here on the smart orders for groups and leave him set on counter battery. Now, whenever enemy artillery fires, he will automatically target them and fire back.
Ready to attack,
Now,
Control.
I said about the jets having different speeds and travel times into the map earlier on, and this is what I mean. So unlike the previous titles when you kind of call them in and they just kind of poof out of nowhere straight into the battle, now when you tell a jet to come in, they have a travelling. Now, the travelling meter will go along, and as the travelling meter goes along, that indicates how close they are to getting into the map here. So now he's finished travelling, he has appeared on map. I'm going to tell him to go straight over to this right side. Again, let's try and set that
I
there.
hear you loud and clear.
This Abrams, we're just going to get to move further up as well.
Squadron ready.
You can scroll in on your units really far in. You can see them. They are really detailed in this game. It's lovely. You can see the units inside the vehicles and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to get the A-10 to try and bomb the BMP that's over there.
Going there.
I'm in an R in between what we should bomb will make it harder for him to actually target and drop. So we need to be careful.
We can't take it anymore.
He's just going to fly over here and he's going to drop.
Ryan, get down.
Stop and watch just the cinematic bombs go off here. This game is absolutely gorgeous, even if it does kill your frame rate as you scroll in. Now we're just going to leave him on auto strike. Now he will target whatever he can. Our recon vehicle here does have AGMs, so he is trying to hit some of the enemy vehicles as he can. Unfortunately, he did miss. Put the other one up there as well. We did lose this engineer squad up front. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a Thunderbolt here real quick, add to our air group. Here, we are going to call in a set of aero rifles and try and get them to go and land at these buildings, just to try and help secure that. We're going to call in another capture car here. We're going to tell them to go and get in those trees as best we can.
Any target?
Got our A-10 there, that little symbol. He's evacuating the zone. You can see this one's now travelling in, so it'll be a little while till he gets into the map. Did just lose my recon vehicle on the right here. See, it's just crash landed into the abyss of low frame rates. And it's just a smouldering wreck. Now, this Abrams, he is nearly dead. We're going to try and get him to reverse out of there as best we can. We're going to call in a second one to come up and back him up. If we can get him out of this zone successfully, then I will get him to head back to base to the Hemmet here with the artillery piece, and he will be able to heal up and prepare.
Squadron ready.
We're going to set this A-10 Thunderbolt to auto strike as well here. You can tell them whether you want them to target transport vehicles and stuff like that. A-10 has decided to evacuate the area. As you can see, I'm losing points here because the enemy hold 2 more capture point incomes than I do at this moment in time.
What are the orders?
So auto sell on the Black Hawk is on here. We are just going to save it alive and not getting rid of that currently.
Platoon is formed and ready.
To tell the aero rifles to go and get into the building there. We're going to get another tank in as well, just to help support up this road.
Ah, I'm hit.
And we're going to get a set of mech rifles to come up the road as well.
I need that tail rotor checked.
I'm going to actually sell this Black Hawk now, just to get him out of the map.
Yes, sir. Heads down.
We're going to try and get the artillery to target the BMP, but with it moving, it is going to be rather rough here.
Medic.
Does see, unfortunately, that they did take out my capture vehicle in this zone here. Now, you do have to be careful. There is friendly fire in this.
Ah, I'm hit. We stop here. I hear you loud and clear.
We do need to be careful. Now, they've got an MI-24, so we're going to get into anti-aircraft helicopters here.
Morgan, Red Leader. I'm listening.
Just going to get this Abrams to reverse here if we can. I'm going to try and get this vehicle to unload on this left side.
Damn, that was close.
Now, some people might question why there are infantry that cost 130 points, just because these guys do come in Bradley IFVs. So that A10 has come back in by itself, being on auto strike. And it has even taken out that Mi-24 for us there, using its air-to-air missiles and its GAU-8 Avenger cannon. And then it's just going to auto send itself out of the map as well.
It's hot here. Bring us there, Captain.
So our vehicle should be on. We're just going to apply auto cell to it as well. All those mech rifles in that building. That building does have some height to it. They can see over into that field, as we can see via this line of sight. We have our other A10 travelling in as well. We're going to get this Hemet. We're going to get a Hemet too.
It's hard here. Let's fly. I hear you loud.
This Abrams is also hurt, so we are just going to get them to retreat down the road again.
One more hit, we're done. Second platoon, let's go.
So what we've done, we've just got to make sure the mech rifles are in the buildings here. And they're just covering that field for us. Same with that unit there, although we are going to have to get them to actually hop into a building because they've not hopped into one fully. Going to bring in another unit to that side. We're going to get a Abrams to roll up that way as well. We want to make sure that our spawn does not get attacked here. We're going to get this Abrams defaultly to hunt. And we're going to move him up this left side. That way, this new Abrams that's coming in can just go straight to the front line here and help with the attack across that field.
I can hear the bullets whistling behind me.
Now we are just going to purchase another A10 Thunderbolt here. We're going to put him on auto strike as well. He'll come in here and then we'll get him to just doubly auto strike just to make sure that he is initiating the strike. I'm going to roll the Abrams quite far up the side here.
Ready to train.
As you can see, they actually have a Strela in our spawn, essentially. I'm going to get these units to go and upload up here. We took out that Strela luckily. The Abrams is on hunt, so we'll continue to just roll up that side. Seti 10's now in mission, and we are going to get him to auto strike. Changed my mind, actually, I want to try and take out that T-80. We're going to try and get this Abrams to roll up that right side there as well. We're going to pre-get a logistics vehicle in that direction.
Red 6, mount it up.
Those multi-strokey are very powerful, so we do have to be careful here with moving these units up.
What are your orders, sir?
So these Abrams are now okay as far as I'm aware, so we're just going to get them to hunt up that road. As you can see, stupidly driving those mech units up on the right did end up getting them killed.
Just give me a target.
That Abrams is hunting up that road, so if he does gain line of sight on something, he should blow it up if it's not an empty vehicle. Like, that resupply vehicle technically isn't hostile within engagement rules, so we won't automatically engage it. We will lose here, however, if we do not hurry up quickly, so we are just going to try and neutralize his objectives quickly if we can.
Bomber ready.
We lost our A10 on the our Abrams on the left, unfortunately.
I need that tail rotor checked.
Yeah, another two Abrams to just roll up that center as well and try and secure that middle objective. It'll get us 3. golf if we can somehow get it.
Mount it up.
Get us a lot as well.
It's on here.
Just gonna get that aim reverse a bit if we can.
Face the enemy. Waiting for instructions.
Unfortunately, it looks like we will lose here because we can't get something to peek at quick enough.
It's hot here. Back up. Back up.
There you go. Lost the Abrams on that right as well. I haven't played this match the best whatsoever. It's unfortunate that we lost, but this is purely an informative video here today. You see, this is the end screen here. See the match, your time, what classification of victory or defeat it was, your kills, your losses, and then you can actually see the individual kills of each unit that you brought into the map. As you can see, Dorsey here in his Abrams killed a lot. But that is the will of the game, unfortunately, here today. That was a loss, but it's not a true loss if we are actually learning from the game, and we are still all learning here. Some changes have been made to unit damage and all that sort of stuff to the previous titles from Eugen Systems. So hopefully everyone has enjoyed this video and a brief look at it and a little bit of the gameplay. If you want to see anything else, a bit more of an in-depth look at the battle groups or like something specific in the skirmish missions, feel free to drop a comment down below and I can get onto that and I can cover a bit more, and I will continue to cover this game as more content does come out for it as well. So I hope everyone has enjoyed. Please do check out my other content if you liked this video as well. I have a whole playlist of Thunder 2-1 and I've got some Hunt Showdown videos as well. So if any of that is your sort of thing, please do check them out. If you fancy checking me out on stream as well, I'll drop a link down below. So streaming a mix of games, and I'm getting back into streaming now that I am better from COVID. Now, thank you all. I'll see you in the next one.